repeat the rest of the question so that he can hear them all, I guess.
Okay, now, sister, can you say the question that you was going to ask him, Judah?
Yes. My question is, what does the laws of Yahweh the Most High teach?
Your question to me will be what?
What does the laws of Yahweh the Most High teach? Like, what does his laws teach?
Okay.
That way, Jabari can have a better understanding.
That right there throws off the whole thing. Because we had a topic. The topic was basically about his deity or his principle that he prays to, Osiris.
Let me say this, Jeremiah. Jabari is on the defense, correct? And you're on the offense, correct? Because you're trying to disprove Osiris at some point.
I want to prove that Osiris was looked at as a real deity.
Okay. And Jabari
wants to look at him as just a principle.
Okay, that's the topic.
That's the topic. So let's do this.
Agree with that, Jabari? I see he's smiling.
I'm not even sure if you understand what you're asking.
Jabari, you think that, baby? Jabari, don't let me die. Jabari, I got my hand. Jabari, I'm reading.
Hey, Judah.
I'm reading my hand.
Let's do this. Pertaining to Osiris, you ask Jabari a question, Jabari will ask you a question, and then you'll answer. And we'll do 3 rounds of that, and we'll give you 10 minutes to answer your question in 4. Does that work? Because you want to stick just with the top. Does that work?
That's right.
There will be no interruption from the other party until that person is finished. The sister can keep the time. Any question or answer that goes off topic will be noted. Agreed?
That worked.
All right, then, let's get it in.
All right, let me set my timer for 10 minutes. Or was it 5?
5. Right?
Yeah, 5. But if y'all want more to answer questions,
I like Jabari to go first.
Hey,
now, let's be clear. If you want me on the defensive, you're not one person doing what? I mean, you're not. I think you're disagreeing on the.
Okay, Jabari. Well, listen, this ain't gonna take me 10 minutes. My first part, because I got
10 minutes.
You're
not understanding the parameters of the debate.
It's 5 minutes per round.
Can I go ahead and start the timer?
Okay, you on the defense about. This is what he on the defense about. He said to me, "You go ahead and start your timer right now."
All right, I'm starting the timer for 5 minutes. Your time starts now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. You can't start time without the person has to ask the question, then the time has to start, right?
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
I'm not going to ask any question. Don't start the timer. Let's be clear, folks. What you've done, and I'm willing to go along with it, is we've had people that we trust describing the parameters of the debate, and now you've just blown it up in the first 6 minutes. I'm okay with that, even though it's a little disrespectful to the folks that we trusted performing this function. But if you ask me certain questions, I'm okay with that. But we have to at least have some structured time, right? So the time can't start before you ask the question. You might ask
Well, if I'm going first, I'm gonna point out to people what's going on with you. You're on the defense.
Hold on.
I don't know if you understand the structure.
Jeremiah. What you're going to do, you're on. Well, what's happening is Jabari is debating that Osiris is a principle. You're debating that he's an actual deity. So what you have to do is you have to put an opening statement like the court. Then you have been in the piece, everybody has been to say. So what you're trying to do, what you're going to do right now is open your opening statement as far as why is Osiris actual deity to you. And what Jabari is going to do is tell you why he's not. And then you're going to go into the evidence of why he is. And Jabari is going to go into the evidence of why he's not.
All right, let me start it off then. All right.
Well, this is an opening statement. Hold on. Hold on. Now, Daniel and Sister, how much time do they have for the opening statement?
Let's see, they have 5 minutes to respond to the question.
Okay, no, not a question right now. Right now, it's opening statement.
The whole point hey, so listen, you get 3 minutes, we'll do 3 minutes for the opening statement, then each one get 3 minutes for the opening statement, then we'll go into 5 minutes after the person asks the question. We'll go 3 rounds for each. Right? That should be enough for everyone.
That's cool. Matter of fact, they don't even need to be into these rules. We can do 3 minutes for each. So it's going to be 5.
Yeah.
3 minute opening statement.
Everybody.
Mute your mic.
I want everybody know that, hey, this is Jeremiah Jude, the 7,000 from the Lions Den. I represent the Lions Den, and I'm basically going against an opponent who represents kind of the House of Consciousness. He's over there, he basically, he attacked the Bible a lot, said that we're mythological and things of that nature. So what I'm here to do is maybe ask him a few questions about what he believes. Now, during some of our conversations, Barry got him to open up finally, and then he said that he prayed for Osiris. This is what he prayed, but he's telling me that Osiris is just a principle. I'm going to prove here tonight that the ancient Kemetics and the Egyptians, I'm saying Kemetics, they didn't believe that Osiris was a principle, and a lot of these deities were looked at as actual gods. That's where I'm coming from. That's my angle. I don't even need 5 minutes to even go into it. That's where I'm coming from. I'm going to prove that these people actually are religious, and they believe that these, what he called principles or aspects, I'm going to prove that they were deities or gods.
All right, and what about you, Jabari?
Are you finished? You have about a minute and a half left. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Well, let me say, family, I want to appreciate that you give me an opportunity to speak to you. I truly believe that talking to our people is of critical importance, including, and it doesn't really matter whether they agree or not. We have to be able to try to come to some understandings of how we're going to move forward. So it's critically important for us to have dialogue. Now, I know that there's been a lot that's been said. I've been told that I've been running from somebody. I've been told that the person I'm debating has told me everything from gay to a nun to all kinds of strange things. And I want you to understand, family, that I will only engage when there is a conversation worth engaging in. I believe our dear brother is attempting to come forward with something that we can actually talk about, and so that's why I'm here. But I want to be absolutely clear that our good friend Jeremiah is drawing the weak hand. I spent a long period of my life as a Christian and have studied the Bible comprehensively. And clearly, even in just the way that he phrases it as Christian, it's clear to me that he is completely unfamiliar with Kemetic spirituality. And he's trying to shoehorn it into the way that he understands his own spiritual tradition. So I think that this will be hopefully an interesting discussion. I'm allowing him to ask questions about the Kemetic tradition, but I also want him to be clear that if he's going to ask me questions about my tradition, that I think it should be fair, he should agree, that I'll ask him questions about his as well. And I think that's the only way that we should proceed here. I'm willing to answer questions, even though it seems clear to me that some of them I think might be off base. I'm willing to answer them, and I hope that he is willing to answer his as well. Once again, let me say I appreciate that you giving me a chance to talk. I want to also appreciate those folks who took their time out, Tafara Yisrael and Daniel Haru, trying to formulate this into a conversation that would make sense. So I think that we really have to, at the outset, appreciate them for spending time in their day that they did not need to spend time in, so they can organize this structure and have this conversation. So with that, family, I hope that we'll be able to have an open dialogue and that we'll be able to come to a better understanding of each of our traditions. Shall we go forth in peace?
All right. Now, shall we get started with the questions? Daniel, are you ready?
Daniel?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
So we are asking questions here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Asking the same question?
No. He has a separate question for him that's similar to mine, reworded different.
I'm not sure if is Jeremiah agreeing to that?
So before he said no.
So you're going to ask a question similar to what he just asked? Is that what you're going to do? Or?
I'm going to ask
I just want to go in on what he believes in as far as he said that he only that Osiris and all these deities that Antigen worship were just principles. Because that's his angle where he's coming from. He's not looking at them as real deities or godlike entities. Am I correct, Bard?
No. No, you're not. I want you to ask a question, or what are we doing here?
That's what I want to ask you. What is the difference between... Jeremiah. 1 minute, bro.
Yes, we have to do round one.
You can ask those questions in the third round when you can ask your questions.
All right, go ahead.
That's why we have unbiased moderator. That's why we have a comedic moderator and we have a visual moderator. So, who inspire or not asking questions? These people.
Okay. We're asking in the third round.
Exactly.
All right. So my first question is, let's see. What does, I think I will make it related to the topic as we are talking about Osiris. So, Jabari, I would like to ask you, let's see, what does Osiris teach? And your 5-minute mark starts now.
What does Osiris teach is the question you'd like to ask?
Yes.
Okay. I want to be clear that Osiris is a figure that exists in the mythological system of ancient Kemet. Before I say anything else about him, I want us to be clear that Osiris was not, is not, a human being like you or I, did not walk the earth like you or I, but Osiris, as you call him, I will say Asar, because Osiris is a Greek name. Asar is a mythological representation of the divinity in all of us and our battle to find ourselves within a chaotic world. So if you look at the initial the mythos that actually Asar is listed in, you're going to see a story of a young man who is the king of Kemet, mostly the first king of Kemet, and he is so successful that he goes abroad to take civilization to the rest of the world. In the time that he leaves the throne of Kemet, he puts his queen, Ast, who I think you've probably heard as Isis, which is the Greek name, Isis on the throne. His brother, Set, whose initial name was Sutek, actually was angered by this. So Sutek actually schemes to find a way to take the throne from Asar. When Asar returns, his queen tells him this story, and Asar does not believe her, goes to a celebration for his homecoming, where Sutek murders him. To make a long story short, Ast And the actual wife of Stutek, who was her sister, go off on this journey to gather the pieces of the murderer's car. And as they put the pieces together, their quest is to bring Asar back to life, and to actually, Asa also wants to take the seed of Asar so that she can give birth to Heru, her son, their son, who is undoubtedly the first description of what we might call a divine conception. In the Christian tradition, sometimes they even call it an immaculate conception, although that's not a term that I would use. And so they put the pieces together. One piece is missing, is Henaneth, or his penis, as you might hear it called. She recreates this penis using words of power, takes in his seed, and gives birth to the heir. The rest of the story is about Heru being raised by his mother to become the heir of the king. He eventually goes off to fight Seth through a number of trials and tribulations. He loses that first battle. He receives divine intuition in the form of an eye. By the way, this is where we get the concept of the third eye. And then from there, he receives intuition. He goes back, he defeats his uncle, and he becomes the king of heaven. So this is the mythological story of the Thor. What does that story teach us and the subsequent mythological stories of the Thor? It teaches us, first of all, that through his victory, there can be victory over death. It also teaches us that righteousness, while it may not seem that it is winning initially, righteousness, the path of Ma'at, is actually that which will find us into heaven. Let's be clear, we didn't use the word heaven, I'm using that for the audience so they can understand. Let's be clear that in the Semitic mythology, no one would have access to the divine afterlife were it not for the death and resurrection of Asar. So, I want you to also understand that when we use the word resurrection, it's actually an echo of what happened to Asar. In order for Asar to live again, his Henaneth, or his penis, had to be reconstructed so that the divine seed could go forth. So even when you use the word resurrection, you are referring to Asar, the first resurrected deity, who gives this concept to the rest of the world. So Asar, after resurrected, goes off to be the king of the afterlife, while his son Heru becomes the archetype for the divinity in all of us. And so we are Heru, and our Father in heaven is Asar. So this story may sound familiar because it becomes the archetype by which the Christian and the Judaic tradition actually rendered their own story. This is the world's first resurrected deity.
Bullshit.
We see the world's first sacred birth without copulation. And we see a king going off to rule in heaven while we are those who live on the earth. Please, I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Well, your 5 minutes is up. Daniel, you can go ahead and answer your question for Jeremiah Judah.
Jeremiah, can you tell me, how did the Hebrews get the law? What does it pertain to, and how does it play into your salvation?
Jeremiah, your timer starts now.
How did the Hebrews get the law? The Hebrews got the law through Moses. That's how the Hebrews got the law. Well, what I want to talk about, how it pertains to my salvation, because if we follow our laws, our statutes, and commandments, we will get salvation. I mean, there's no getting around it. You got to follow the Most High God. This ain't really, debate. If you asking me a Hebrew question, if asking him a kinetic question, I want to go in on what he believes in. Because they always going on what we believe in. So if I gotta answer a Hebrew question, I can answer a Hebrew question, but this defeats the purpose of me and him on face to face. Because the whole time of the discussion, Jeremiah, I got one question. Okay, listen.
The question that we were asking was to help the audience.
So we forced this time, by the way, this time.
Yes, my time. Go ahead.
Okay, pause this time.
Yeah. The question that we asked was to help the audience gain clarity.
Gotcha.
We're going to let you go in, but the audience, before you ask questions, they need to know where you come from. Yeah.
Right.
After you answer this, and you don't got to use your whole 5 minutes, I asked you a very simple question because I didn't want you to go long into it. We can go to number 3 where y'all can ask each other questions.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Okay. You know, like I say, we get all of our strength from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It started off with a lot of things passed down from the patriarchs. You know, like Enoch, he passed it down from Methuselah passed it down from Noah, and Noah passed it down to his 3 sons. His 3 sons passed it down to Abraham. You know, and like that. It's the whole tradition that we have. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people say that we Johnny come lately, but like I said, we're not saying that we're the newest nation on the earth, but we're saying that we are a set apart nation. Meaning, when we went into Africa, seeing the Sodomite ways of the different tribes and stuff. Our Bible teaches against Sodomite ways. Our Bible teaches against murder or how to live right. You see what I'm saying? So we have a strict code that we go by. See? And our main code is to be set apart. We don't deal with holidays, nothing like that. We don't worship no flags, nothing like that. We are a set apart nation. This is why we come against the practices of the Kemetic. You know, they have a priesthood right now, 2019, where they don't even address their own priesthood when you got a Kemetic in here who teach you that hope is a gay spirit.
That doesn't pertain to the question of how is for your salvation. You have to stay within.
Well, my salvation is, what I'm trying to say, my salvation is following what's right in my book. The law, statutes, commandments, to live right. That's how I'm going to get my salvation. By doing good work.
Okay, Judy, we have 1 minute left. Would you still like to collaborate a little bit more?
No, I want to get past this. I want to get to the meat of the table.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's get to say we're going straight into the question round.
More powerful is that we have to recognize Asar is not a physical, literal person. And I want us to understand that the African mind is not literal. The African mind is symbolic. The African mind is poetic. The African mind is not literal, and it's not patriarchal. So that when you look at the story of Asar, a man that's cut into 14 pieces, put back together, his face is green, who grass grows from him, I hope that you understand that no one in ancient time, and no practitioners today, view Asar as a literal person. And so the concept that you can actually exist in mythos helps us understand that Asar is not someone outside of us. In fact, you are Asar. And so the symbolic nature of Asar is important for Africans today. Number 4, did you hear in that story, I told you about the story of Asar and Heru? Well, near the beginning of the story, Asar is murdered. Sometimes we call that the story of Asar, but the reality is it is much more about the story of us than it is Asar. The African stories, the one that involves Asar, puts women in their rightful place as co-equal partners to men. The later traditions, those Abrahamic traditions, find women as subordinate characters. And I know that you say that you follow the laws, dear Jeremiah. Your laws say that as well. We're going to get into that in a moment, since you follow laws given to you by Moses. I hope you realize that Deuteronomy was supposedly written by Moses. So if you follow those laws, we're going to see what you do. The ancient African traditions that include Asar actually put the woman in her rightful place. And she is our equal, and that is of critical importance. I think that was 4, right? Let me give you number 5. When we look at Asar, you have to also recognize that Asar works closely with other divine characters. So that I know that you're asking about Hasar, but the reality is, in the Kemetic mindset, there are a multiplicity of divine forces that are simply the emanations, the versions of one divine force. Just like when you look at the Inuit people, those people that have been derogatorily called the Eskimos. You've probably heard that the Eskimos, the Inuit people, have over 200 words for snow. We don't have many words because we're not as familiar with snow. Well, imagine that your Kemetic ancestors had over 2,000 ways to describe the divine. Why? Because in ancient Africa, we were focused on the divine more than any other people in the world. And so Asar is just one version of the divine. That's why Eru is divine, and Ast is divine. All of these characters are aspects of the divine. And they are not literal people, they are you, dear brother. That is what we have to understand. That is why Asar is more powerful.
Okay, your time is up.
Do I get to respond to that, or I gotta go off the top? Panel, do I get to respond to that, or do I gotta talk about something else?
That was a question posed to me. I'm wondering what your question is.
Go ahead, ask the question.
Right?
Yeah, we need to ask the question again.
Hold on, both of y'all. The moderators need to know if y'all can respond.
Yes, I believe it's Jabari's turn to answer the question now.
Do they have a rebuttal, Daniel? Do they have a rebuttal or don't? Because they can have rebuttal and they can write the questions down.
If you're a skilled debater, you can rebut within the same time. I mean,
I was gonna jump in on that, but I was trying to give you your time.
Okay, so
I want a rebuttal time. That's all.
Okay, so if you're going to rebut, what happened? Is anybody still there?
yeah.
No, in order to save time, if we're going to do a rebuttal period, then it's going to have to be, you got 2 minutes. The person running you 2 minutes to rebut. That's it.
Matter of fact, you know what? 1 minute to rebut.
Alright, let me rebut that real quick.
1 minute, y'all. 1 minute.
Okay, let me set the timer.
Wait, we have to agree first. What do we say?
We get 1 minute rebuttals at you go. So what you just said, I want to rebut that, and I'm going to do it in 1 minute.
Okay, Julie, your time starts now.
Go. Now see, Egyptian religion was a complex system of polytheistic beliefs and rituals that form an integral part of ancient Egyptian society. Now look at it. It was centered on the Egyptian interaction with many deities believed to be present in and out of this world. Rituals such as prayers and offerings were provided to the gods to gain favor. So basically what I'm saying to you, he's trying to represent these ones as being principles. We got all kind of evidence showing that these people actually deified some of these major ones like Osiris, Hathor. They got temples for them. They just didn't build temples just for principles. So we're gonna have to skip this and get to the point. These people worship these deities, not the
Okay, your turn is up, Judah.
Right, that was 1 minute.
Jabari, would you like to rebuttal that?
Yes, very simply. I live in New York City, and in a harbor near here, there's a very large statue. In fact, I believe it's over 500 feet tall. It's a statue of a woman, and she's called the Statue of Liberty. Right? If anyone believes that she was an actual woman, she's consecrated. I'm calling now.
Hold on, Jeff.
She's consecrated to the concept liberty. People develop models and monuments to concepts all the time. So I'm not sure why he's confused by this. But I want you to understand that I have visited those temples. I've been in them. In fact, my shrine is the shrine of Ma'at. Just because I'm saying that it's a principle and not a literal person doesn't mean that we're not talking about a deity. Ma'at is a deity. Asar is a deity. But I'm saying they aren't literal physical people. I'm saying that they are aspects of one divine force that creates all things. That is
Okay. Who's that one divine force then?
Who's that one divine force?
Your time is up.
Discipline.
Jabari gets to ask a question. Jabari gets to ask a question.
Go ahead.
I would like for you to explain to us how you feel about the laws of Deuteronomy. Do you follow them all? You said the laws were given to you by Moses. And Moses is your lawgiver, I believe. So could you talk to us about those laws that come from Moses and talk to us about how important they are in the way that you view the world?
Your time starts
Can I get my
now.
Bible out? Can I get my Bible out, or do I need to go off the top of the head?
No, you get your Bible out if you want.
I don't know what
Yes,
you
you can
need.
use the Bible.
It depends on what you need to do. I don't know what you need to do.
Okay. Ten Commandments. These are the 10 Commandments that he gave us. No graven images or likeness, nor take the Lord's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not commit adultery. He gave us 10 basic ones to really go by. This is the main 10 that I follow. All the other ones got to do with ceremonial law and things of that nature. Some things that right now, we ain't doing certain things right now that they did back then. But the 10 major ones, them the ones that we really need to deal with. Now, there you go. It's 10 major ones.
How much time does he have? I mean,
Let's see. You still have 4 minutes and 50
Oh,
seconds.
can I go my other 4 minutes? So I answer that. Can I go into my other stuff?
No, you can only answer his question, and then he gets a rebuttal, and then you can rebut it back and then ask your question, just like he did.
Well, he asked me about, my law. It's 10. That's it, bro. And we don't have to deal with all 16 and 13 because we ain't living in certain. Look, we ain't recognized as a nation anymore. So some of that stuff we can't follow.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, stop
No
playing
problem.
with me.
No problem. Jabari, do you have a rebuttal or something to say? You got, what, is it 1 minute?
Yeah, you got 1 minute.
is he finished? I want to make sure he finished.
I want to go in on Osar. Osar. So
Okay.
I can't get that right.
You can answer the question next. Yeah, Jabari, do you have a rebuttal for when you got 1 minute, sister?
I definitely have a
I'm
rebuttal.
resetting the timer now. Your time starts now.
Go.
Okay, and I have 1 minute, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I want to be clear that he's saying that Moses is the lawgiver, and he's telling you which rules to follow. So I guess Jeremiah is calling himself the lawgiver because he's deciding which rules to follow, which ones she shouldn't. Deuteronomy, the book of the Bible, the Pentateuch that is both followed by Hebrews and Christians, says in the 40th year, in the first day of the 11th month, Moses proclaimed to the Israelites that all that the Lord had commanded him concerning them. So he describes the laws here as given by Moses. And I want to be clear that within those laws, we see things like, give me a second here. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profaneth her father and shall be burned with fire. It also says, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father.
Oh, your time is up, Mr. Jabari.
I'm ready.
You're
You're a little long-winded. All right, go ahead. Now, do I get to go back on that, or I'm done? I get to
You got
the rebuttal, aren't you?
Nah, y'all can't rebut. Y'all can't rebut and rebut and rebut.
All right, go. All right, go ahead.
Ask your question, Jeremiah.
Go ahead to the next question.
No, ask me. You have the question. Ask him.
If I'm trying to ask him a question.
Yeah, you're
Always
going to ask.
for 5 minutes.
All right. Jabari, I want you to explain. I can actually, but we got to stick to Osiris, right? But I thought we were sticking to Osiris, but okay, cool.
Is it only about 4 here? Moderators, can you explain?
The questions fully pertain to the subject, not to go off subject. If it pertains to Osiris, yes. If it does not, hold it.
Okay.
It has to pertain to Osiris, the law, or Osiris.
All right, Jabbar, can you tell me? See, I can't ask a 5-minute question. I mean, that just ain't gonna work. I mean, I got to go into some detail here. But listen, Jabbar.
No, wait. You get to ask the question, and I get to answer. You don't get 5 minutes to answer the question.
Oh,
Go
okay.
into detail about your question. Be specific about your
Here's
question.
it. Okay, now can you explain to me, Jabbar, why did they build a temple for Osiris? Why did they build a temple for him if he's just a principal? And why are they digging up his body? Why are they trying to dig up his body right now?
Okay. Wait, can I answer?
Yes, you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Now, first of all, let me say to you that principles and concepts are very important. And I think you keep saying he's just a principle. And I would argue with you that saying something is just a principle misses the point. This is not a situation where Asar is just a principle. Asar is an aspect of the divine force. And the aspect of the divine force is of critical importance. So yes, they built temples. Temples have us remember things that are important. I told you about the lady who is actually in the harbor between New York and New Jersey. And millions of people go visit her every year. No one's arguing that she is a real person.
That's Iftar. That's Iftar.
I am not finished. I am not.
No, you keep doing that. Is Iftar. We're going to skip the rules here, man. We're going to go around uncut.
Hey,
Laura, can you please speak to your dude?
say this time. Say this time.
He still has 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
Could you talk to him? Because he's not supposed to interrupt me during my time.
That's right.
How you discipline Jeremiah, brother?
Yeah.
Come on, brother.
So,
Other than that.
how much time do you have left?
You have 3 minutes and 41 seconds.
Now that means the clock is still going because you just said I had 50. And now you said 41.
Okay. No, we don't do like this because he interrupted it for 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes. We'll start from there. Every time he interrupts, the clock stops. And I'm going to take watch of the clock as well. Y'all ready?
Oh,
Okay,
anytime.
did you want me to
I'm
repeat?
ready. I was answering when I was interrupted. And so I want you to understand here that the concept of the divine is powerful. And your ancient African ancestors viewed it that way. So of course there are temples that are consecrated to people that to divine forces that supposedly these folks thought were very important. I want to just read something really quickly from the Ryu Pert and Maru and Ger. This is the book of Coming Forth by Day from Night. It has been misnomered the Book of the Dead. This is from what we usually call the chapter of the deification of the members. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want you to hear part of it. It says here, I am Ra. This is the person who is dying, who's died, by the way, saying that they are Ra. I am Ra, who established those who praise me. I am the knot within a tamarisk tree, more beautiful of splendor. We move down a little bit further. My hair is of Nu. My face is of Ra. My 2 eyes are of Heru. My 2 ears of Apuwat. My nose is of Ketcheps. My 2 lips are of Anpu. My teeth are of Kepera. My neck is of As, the divine. My 2 hands are of Kemenu, the divine. I want to go a little bit further down and read this section here. I am yesterday, seer of million of years, my name traveling twice along the way of Heru, the judge. Yeah, I think that's enough to read. I want you to understand what's being said here. It is actually being said that you are divine, that in all portions of you are divine. These divine forces that we are mentioning are not literal people. But that doesn't make them less powerful. They are mythological. But that in fact makes them more powerful than history. History is something that occurred once. Myth is something that is always occurring. It explains how the very nature of the universe exists. And so when I hear Jeremiah say they think they were just principles, he's missing the point. Principles are very important. Very, very important. And so this is something that I think that all people who are ensconced in the Abrahamic traditions need to understand. You have to also understand that that early Christianity was not necessarily that way either. This is something that happened when more Europeans took hold of Christianity. And they also made this Christianity not just literal, but patriarchal. And so now, African, you need to free your mind. Let the tongue take the European out of your head. Why is it you can only understand African tradition through European eyes? You need to stop. I've been a practitioner of Kemetic spirituality for 28 years. I am telling you that the ancient ones and the common and the modern people understood that were not talking about literal people. That doesn't make them less powerful, it makes them more powerful. Imagine not being confined by a physical form. Imagine if I could be anywhere at any time that I wanted to be. Wouldn't I be more powerful than a physical frame, this flesh and bone? Well, these principles are even more important. That is what our dear brother needs to understand.
Okay, and your time is up. Judah, it is your turn.
All right, you can rebut for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Start the timer.
I get a minute rebuttal. I'm going to tell you like this, right?
Yeah, he get a minute rebuttal.
And you're not being honest with the people that you teach, the people that follow you on here, because you are trying to get into the afterlife with Osiris. That is what the Kemetics believe in. Ain't no getting around it. They believe in an afterlife. They want to go to the hall of my aunt to get their heart rate weighed, see if it's less than a feather. And if they didn't less than a feather, they got devoured by a demon called the Devourer. If not, if their heart was lighter than a feather, they went to the afterlife with Osiris. And when they went to the afterlife, they took little bitty clothes with them to do the work for them in the afterlife. You know this. They took little bitty figurine clothes with them and a spell that came with it. And that spell activated these little clothes to do the work for them for a god. So they didn't look at them as they looked at them as literal God in this afterlife.
Barry, would you like to start your
I'm
rebuttal?
playing games, man.
No, he don't. No, hold on.
Just ask the question.
Jeremiah.
That was for a rebuttal of what he said.
I know
Yes.
you got, you did your rebut, but
No, you were correct, Jeremiah. I don't get to rebut you now. I get to ask you a question.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Now, keep in mind that the way we
Stick to the topic now. Stick to
the topic is the SAR. I mean, you
right.
You have no idea anything about a SAR. You have no idea. I mean, how am I asking you about a SAR? You still call him Osiris, which is a Greek name.
Topic. Stay on topic, y'all. Stay on topic.
So how do I ask?
And I call him Inquisitor, his Atlantean name, and you know nothing about it.
What second?
Hey, hold on.
Stop is Atlantean.
This false talking, Jeremiah. Hey,
Inquisitor.
we have to stop false talking.
All right, go ahead.
Let me ask my question.
Yes, it's time for him to ask his question now.
Let me ask my
Go
question.
ahead.
Let me ask my question. And let me say that I never used the word tongue. He did. I used the word I never
used Inquisitor.
Oh, let me go ahead and ask my question here.
Go ahead.
I would like for you to explain whether you agree with the following passages. I'm not going to read the passage, it would take too long. But I want you to explain whether you think. Because this
has nothing to do with the star, right?
Am I finished? Am I finished? I'm not finished. You need to wait to finish my question.
Man, conduct yourself as gentlemen.
I'm not anything ungentlemanly. I'm trying to ask a question, but he continues to interrupt. And I think, no disrespect, sis, you need to say something to him because he's not going to respect me. Jafar, you need to say to him, stop.
I got my book. I got it.
All right, Jeremiah. So it is Jabari's turn
He
to
gets
ask
talk right now.
question.
He just.
And then you'll have 5 minutes to respond, all right?
I would like for Jeremiah to tell me whether he thinks that Moses was incorrect, was wrong, for telling people that if a woman was going to be married and found not to be a virgin, that she could be stoned on the doorstep of her father. Was Moses wrong? Do you agree with his proclamation, his law?
Jeremiah, you have 5 minutes.
What year and time is this supposed to be? We live in a different time, right? It was stoning. Hey, you know what? Stoning was going on back then. If you mess up, you're going to get stoned. Point blank, period. That's what was going on back then. It's a different time. So you can't sit here and try to use a different time to what we living in today. We don't do stoning in 2019, brother. So why is that question even relevant in 2019? How about I ask, I don't know, get up and talk. I can answer that real quick. No, that shit don't fly in 2019 because different laws in the land right now.
I asked if you think he was wrong.
Whoa, it's my turn. Can somebody tell him he's not talking when I'm talking?
Jabari, stop talking, Jabari. Cut the time. Start the time back. Start the time back.
Man.
You got to run the time back. He interrupted him. Fair is fair.
Thank you.
I thought you said 4 minutes when he interrupted last time. Why is it 5 minutes now?
This guy is still talking, everybody. Can somebody tell him?
I am getting, you can pause the time. I need some clarity from the moderator.
He's talking about the time. He's talking about Canada.
Yeah, I need some. You can pause this time. I need some clarity from the moderators. By the way, when I interrupted him, that was actually the job that the moderator should be doing.
So he can interrupt, but Judah can't interrupt him, but he can interrupt Judah.
Shut the hell up for my 5 minutes.
He can interrupt Judah, but Judah can't interrupt him. Come on, Mr. Hayru. Come on, Mr. Hayru. Do your job.
Let's get back on point, Jamar. Now, you said something about stoning.
Jamar, hold on.
We talk about stoning.
We don't. I want to respectful. This is a, be respectful.
Right.
Right. And we're not going to sit here and call it different names and we're not.
Right. I'm trying to be.
We got sisters on the line. We're not going to do that.
Right.
Jeremiah, this is your platform. We're trying to make this as good as we can. We want people to be able to come to your platform.
So did he just interrupt me, King Shop, or did I? Interrupt me.
For y'all did, both of y'all did. Some of the things. Okay, so start your time at 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'm trying to get back to it.
Hey,
Okay, so I restore the clock for 4 minutes.
how much time does he have before he
I
starts?
don't need that much time to answer that question. Ask me about the stoning.
Hold on, Jeremiah. I'm talking to the moderator. How much time does he have?
I reset it to 4 minutes because he was interrupted.
Okay,
Go
4
ahead,
minutes.
Jeremiah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm getting ready for something. I'm about to Chicago thing. I'm gonna set it for 4 minutes, and I'm gonna have a digital timer on here, and I'm gonna show it on the clock so you can see where the time is. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, y'all ready? Let's do this.
Right. Now,
All right, go. Go.
Yes. The LIONSDEN and hashtag Jeremiah $7 back. You see what I'm saying? And what's going on right here? Yeah, the Jeremiah, don't be stealing my catchphrases now. Now, see, this is what's going on. This guy, he really don't want to talk about his side. I don't know why we talking about Moses damn stoning. 2019, we don't do that no more. Because if we want to talk about some old stuff, we can talk about what y'all used to do by putting crocodile dung in your cookies and all that type of stuff that women did. Well, how is Moses on the same topic as the disciples? Let's flow with it. He asked me about stoning.
Right.
Stoning the same topic as this guy that he prayed to Assad. But I'm going to roll with it because Jeremiah...
Jabari was able to switch to the Hebrews. When he was talking, I saw it. He switched to the Hebrews, so there's nothing wrong with him switching to the Comedics.
Okay, stop the clock, sister.
Okay.
they're failing to understand the format we had, right? You was going to ask questions about Osar, and of course, he's not going to ask about questions of Osar. He's going to question him about his rules that come down from the Hebrew. That was the format. Now,
I thought he was supposed to prove it's a much better he accepted.
you cannot question him without him being able to question you. And then, if both of you interrupt, if you interrupt, and we have to put 4 minutes back on this time, and then he interrupts you, it's not like tit for tat. It's like, oh, well, look what he did to me when everybody was interrupted. The moderators are here, and there's more than 2 right now. Just keeping everybody in line. So stop. Let's not act like we don't know what's going on with the platform question. Just ask the question, answer it, rebut, and then ask the next question.
Okay. Watch this. Okay, now, he asked me about stoning in 2019, and would that be, how do I feel about stoning in 2019? To me, when I see all these homosexuals running around and all these gay temples and all over America that the Commanders has got going, I would love to sit on the top of a building and stone them all. So yes, I support stoning back then, and Jeremiah Judah will go on the record and say he supports stoning in 2019. Bring it back. Let's make America great again. There you go. There you go, Jabbar. You asked me the question. I'm trying to be honest. Come bring your face back into the camera. You're the liars, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, Jabbar. Look out.
Shall I restart the timer for 1 minute for the rebuttal?
Go ahead, bro.
That's why I say
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay, let me start the timer. Let's see. All right, 1 minute, go.
You know,
I'm enjoying this, Jabbar, just so you know.
He's talking
I said I'm enjoying it. That's all I said, bro. Don't be
Could you please?
Turn for the rebuttal. Let him rebuttal.
You got to rebut.
Go ahead and rebuttal.
Let me be absolutely clear here that we are cheering a black man who was quoting Donald Trump. That's really clear.
Stick to the topic.
He's interrupted.
Stick to the topic.
For 1 minute.
I will say to you is, he says that there are gay Kemetic temples all over America. This brother ain't been near, close to, or seen a Kemetic temple. He is incorrect.
All right, Jeremiah, you're
I
going to
remember going
start
to one. You're right.
Jeremiah, you can go ahead and start your rebuttal.
No, Jeremiah does not get a rebuttal. I was rebutting him. He gets to ask me a question.
Okay. You can go ahead and ask your question, Jeremiah.
And your negative 42 confessions, is that for the here and now, or is that designed for the afterlife?
Jabari, 5 minutes.
I don't know if I need 5 minutes for that, but let's be clear that there are many, many descriptions of how one should live a life according to Ma'at, a life in balance. And the negative 42 confessions, which we actually see in its latest form, the form that he's describing in the New Kingdom, when Kemet is actually very, very old, those descriptions don't well describe all of Kemetic spirituality. But I will say to you that if you look at the spirit of those laws, you'll get a sense of what you should be doing. So, for example, it says do not waste water. And I want to be clear that we need to be clear about what does that mean, not wasting water? What does it mean that you're not going to waste your resources, that you're going to be frugal about the things that the Neteru, that the divine forces have given you to live? So that's one way that you can look at the 42 laws. But there are several different laws. You can look at the maxims of Ptahotep. You can look at the instructions of Amenemot. By the way, as people like to make fun of Kemetic law, I want you to know that the instruction of Amenemot is the origin of much of the book of Proverbs. So I want to be really clear that what we are seeing is hypocrisy. These laws were good enough for the Hebrews to steal 8 of them, but they like to speak ill of them. This is the way that people who
Stick to the topic. Stick to the topic. That's off topic. You're going off topic. Stop the time. Stop the time. That was off topic. That was off topic, brother.
Well, we were talking about Osiris or...
No, we were talking about the 42 laws.
Right. We was not talking about Psalms. He started talking about Psalms and us.
Jeremiah asked him about the 42 laws, and he's responding to the 42 laws.
That's not what he asked him. That's not what he asked him.
I said, are they 42 signs for the here or the afterlife? That was my question.
That's what he asked. He didn't ask about Psalms. He didn't ask about our Bible. He didn't say nothing about Psalms.
And I am answering the question. I have said nothing that is not part of that.
You said you went to Psalms, brother. You went to Psalms.
I want to be really clear that he says on the useful for now or for the afterlife. And I am being clear that not only do I find them useful, but so should he, because he's living according to the Decalogue. And 8 of those laws come from the 42. So yes, they are useful for today, and they will get you into the afterlife. That is what I am answering. I got you. That is directly. This brother has no discipline whatsoever.
None. And he's keep. Not only, hold on, Jabari. Not only is he interrupting you, but the other brothers interrupt you. And the other brothers right
All right. No, hold up. No, hold up. Seth did the same thing. Seth did the same thing. We got it on camera. Seth did the same thing too. Seth did, and you did the same thing too. You did the same thing. Seth is not a moderator, but he came in a few times. Now hold up. I got it on camera. I'm recording. You see the camera right here. You see it?
Hold on. Listen.
It's right here.
He asked me about whether the 42 laws are applicable today or in the afterlife. I am answering that. I have said nothing that doesn't fit within those parameters. That was the question. That was the question. I am talking about why they are applicable, and I said they must be applicable because we got 8 of them from them. That is exactly an answer to the question. I don't know why you were interrupting, and in fact, perhaps you were not listening to the question. I am answering the question. That is it. That is it. So stop interrupting if you don't know what the conversation is.
No, you started talking about Psalms, brother. Psalms had nothing to do with the fucking question.
Brother.
Miss me with the bullshit. I understood the question. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't. Psalms had nothing to do with it. No, hold up. Hold up. No, stop the timer. 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 Let me talk. Because when you got to talk answering your questions, you kept going to the Bible. You kept going to the Bible. That was permitted for you to do that. But when Jeremiah said, hold up, bro. Hold up. Hold up, bro. Hold up. Hold up. It's going to take longer if you keep interrupting me. It's going to take longer. It's going to take longer if you keep interrupting me. It's going to take longer if you keep interrupting me. It's going to take longer if you keep interrupting me. Okay? I will keep going. Daniel, I will keep going. 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 I will keep going, bro. I will keep going, bro. I will keep going, bro. Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. I'm just saying the time is stop. The time is stop. Okay? So let me say this. Let me say this. he talked about the Bible, it was okay. But when Jeremiah Judah said anything about the Kemetic science, y'all said off topic. But he keeps jumping off topic too. Oh, you motherfucking liar. You motherfucking liar. Every time he said anything about Kemetic science, you said it was off topic.
Theo, hold on. Let's get back to it.
Get back to the topic. Just get back to the topic. You don't have to bring nothing else up. Get back on topic and stay on topic. Fuck that. Get back on topic and stay on topic. Mr. Harut. Please control yourself, Mr. Harut.
I was trying to chime in on a moderator.
But you did, bro. You did. You did.
I did because they were giving undisciplined.
But you did. If you can, then why can't I? All right. That's all I'm saying. I'm not tripping. Let's get back to business. Stay on topic.
Okay. Now, from this point, no one can talk to either speaker except for the moderator. Right? If you're using a reference is different than getting on topic when it's time.
That's what Kemetic preaching is. They show people coffin text and primary text to help them in that transition to the afterlife. But you want to try to make believe like this afterlife is not real. How can you be a Kemetic priest and an atheist at the same time? That makes no sense. And then you want to sit here and teach that these people was not, you want to act like we are so religious, and you guys are not. You want to tell us to be Africanize our Bible, and our Bible is centered around Africa. Everything about the Bible has everything to do with Africa. So don't get on here and act like the Bible is an anti-black African book, or whatever you want to call it. You said it's created by the white. Yeah, where's your African brother? Be quiet.
Hold on, tonight. Y'all don't got to do with the. But out there, we got moderators. That's moderators.
Let's think that y'all just conjured up.
He's going on really long, moderators. You don't have 5 minutes.
Jeremiah, do you have a question to ask, or are you just going to talk?
Come on. This is supposed to be a dialogue. He's going to go for 4 minutes and he's going on with 4 different topics. How can I respond to that?
I thought I get to go for 5 minutes and then you go for 5 minutes.
How are you supposed to do?
Aren't we on the freestyle one now?
I thought that was a freestyle.
15 minutes?
No, are you on a soliloquy, or are we gonna have a dialogue? He's going on to 4 separate topics.
That's what we're gonna do. I'm going to present my case to the people for 5 minutes, and then you're going to get on here.
That is not what we agreed on.
No.
This episode of LIONSDEN was brought to you by Common Sense. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you.
Welcome to the LIONSDEN, 144 men on the rise again.
Yes.
And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. For real? Welcome to the LIONSDEN, 144 men on the rise again.
Yes.
And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. Called you to Jeremiah. I'm finna bring the fire. Cause on the second turn, you don't crucify the Messiah. Roaring like a lion instead of being defiant. You better come together and try to form an alliance. Black Jesus minister, new heavyweight champ. Finna turn the lights on instead of using a lamp. They try to keep up with us, but they leg is catching a cramp. Hebrew Israelites, now that's the name of the camp. That's a divine prospect, shout out to the brother Ron. When they see the Hebrews, other ideologies run. Then apologies come, forever calling us dumb. Bringing all of the facts and leave them silent and numb. So Kwam Yasha Allah, call up Danya Allah. We got no problem, tell the truth and we follow. Got skilled debaters, like Michael Edwards. We never gon' run, PowerPoint, we bring the lecture. Welcome to the LIONSDEN, 144 men on the rise again.
Yes.
And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. For real? Welcome to the LIONSDEN, 144 men on the rise again.
Yes.
And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. We see you talking down when you're doing your interviews. We got a multitude of knowledge, so how could we lose? Used to be in the gang, so I give them the blues. Welcome to the Lions Den, we deep when we face you. I know it's hard to understand your ancestors was a slave, but challenging biblical knowledge, homie, we did great. Intellectually, I know you really hear me, you're standing right here next to me. Yeah, you gon' get this work. When a father don't spend his time, that mean he fit this curse. We the people, like it or not, take a look at your block. The rise of AOC, Masharaya, Sha'ala, cause we got it on lock. Identified through our conditions. Try to label us African without permission. Never laying down, tapping out, no submission. See us in the streets every day, we on a mission. Welcome to the Lions Den, 144 men on the rise again. Yes. And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. Real. Welcome to the Lions Den, 144 men on the rise again. Yes. And you better show some intellect. That'll be the only way a nigga ever get respect. Real.
We get a certain type of treatment in the conscious community. We get a certain type of treatment in the conscious community in which you are at the forefront of, Sonetta. So what we're saying is that we want to have a dialogue and discussion about what is good for black people and what should we be dealing with within our communities and our faith. Man, we wanted to have an intelligent conversation. So